A woman was killed and nearly 1,700 tourists were evacuated due to a large fire at a hotel in the Dominican beach resort of Pehel. Local authorities said on Friday, Francesca Valentino, a 46-year-old Italian woman, was killed in the fire at the Viva Wyndham Dominicus Beach Hotel, the DH Emergency Service said in a statement.
Ismail Saibari scored the fastest goal of the World Cup 2026 so far after just 71 seconds as Morocco beat Scotland 1-0 to close in on a place in the knockout rounds. Saibari scored in Morocco's opening 1-1 draw with Brazil last weekend, and his clinical finish with just over a minute gone settled a hard-fought physical contest at Boston Stadium on Friday.
You've probably used VLC Media Player, the free video player with the orange traffic cone icon. It's been downloaded more than 6 billion times. But according to its lead developer, Jean-Baptiste Kempf, robots will soon be almost as ubiquitous as his open-source video software, convinced that hundreds of millions of robots and drones will be roaming the streets in a few years. This French serial entrepreneur and open-source legend has been building Kyber, an infrastructure layer for controlling remote devices in real time. Its core software is an SDK that synchronizes video, audio, sensor data, and control inputs with minimal latency. A United States judge has denied a petition from former Democratic President Joe Biden, arguing his right to privacy would be violated should recordings he made for a memoir be made public. On Friday, U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich, an appointee of President Donald Trump, ruled that the recordings could be released to the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank.
The federal government has withdrawn all fuel conservation and additional austerity measures introduced since the 9th March 2026, following Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's approval. According to a notification issued by the Cabinet Division, the decision follows a sharp reduction in petroleum product prices announced by the government on Friday. The United States showed they could win without Christian Pulisic, beating Australia 2-0 to reach the World Cup round of 32. But coach Mauricio Pochettino is hoping his talisman will return for their next fat match. Pulisic missed Friday's Group D clash in Seattle with a calf injury sustained in the USA's opening win over Paraguay, leaving the co-hosts without their most influential attacking player. Last Friday, citing unspecified national security concerns, the White House ordered Anthropic to restrict the export of its powerful AI models Fable and Mythos to anyone outside of the United States, as well as foreign nationals inside the country. Shortly after, the AI giant hastily pulled the plug on both models, which have now been unavailable to anyone for a week. The episode is the first real test of whether the US government can use export controls to contain frontier AI the way it has tried, with very uneven results, to contain encryption and spyware before it. And dramatic as it may sound, how this standoff gets resolved could shape not just Anthropic's access to foreign markets, but the rule book that other AI labs will have to build around.
The State Department in the United States has said that a new round of talks between Israel and Lebanon will be held in Washington, D.C. next week. The statement on Friday came shortly after Israel and Hezbollah announced a renewed ceasefire in Lebanon, where ongoing fighting has threatened to derail the US-Iran Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, to end the war. Lawmakers and pro-Israel groups have issued calls for United States President Donald Trump to ask Congress to review a recent Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, designed to end the US-Israeli war with Iran. They cite the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act, INARA, as a precedent. Passed in 2015, the law says any agreements with Iran related to its nuclear program must be submitted to Congress for review and a possible vote of disapproval.
Canada midfielder Ismail Cohn underwent surgery to repair severe fractures in his lower left leg that occurred in Thursday's match against Qatar. Last night, Ismail Cohn underwent successful surgery to repair a lower limb fracture. Canada Soccer said in a statement on Friday he is expected to make a full recovery but will miss the remainder of FIFA World Cup 2026. Spain star Lamine Yamal says it is too soon for him to play a full 90 minutes as he continues his recovery from a hamstring injury ahead of the European champions World Cup game against Saudi Arabia. It's very early, it's unnecessary, the 18-year-old said on Friday.
Go's IPO, Japan's biggest so far this year, has done more than provide a much-needed boost to the country's languishing listing season. It has also supplied the taxi-hailing app with the capital required to address an existential issue. Japan's shortage of drivers, which went public Tuesday, plans to use the 88.6 billion forint raised in its IPO to expand its robo-taxi business and make acquisitions, according to a company spokesperson.
The United States advanced to the World Cup knockout stage with a dominant performance against Australia on Friday, an early own goal and a simple header from Alex Freeman giving the co-hosts a comfortable 2-0 win. Just as they had in their 4-1 victory over Paraguay, the US forced an own goal to open the scoring, with Cameron Burgess the unfortunate defender.
Iran's deputy foreign minister says Tehran wants to continue the diplomatic process with Washington if the United States is serious about respecting their agreement and ensures Israel abides by the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. We are ready to move forward step by step if the other party demonstrates the same seriousness, Saeed Khatibzadeh told Al Jazeera Arabic in an interview on Friday.
One Palestinian child has been killed every day on average for more than 8 months in Gaza since a so-called ceasefire with Israel was announced. The United Nations Children's Agency says UNICEF describes the truce as a cruel and deadly illusion as Israel continues to attack the besieged enclave.
What's the most cliched possible gift you can give a relative? A digital photo frame, displaying a rotating slideshow of family photos. Now Aura has completely refreshed this product space with its gorgeous Aura ink frame, which uses e-ink to create a display that doesn't even look digital. Digital frames have always been so popular, yet mostly disappointing, because there's an undeniable allure to the idea of them. It feels like magic to imagine hanging artwork on your wall that you can change depending on your mood. In practice, these devices usually look clunky. You need to plug them in and figure out how to hide a bulky cord. And does anyone even want another bright screen in their home anyway? This problem was already on the Aura founders' minds when they started the company 10 years ago, but colour e-ink wasn't feasible until now to use in a digital frame.
Norway's government says it plans to ban all trade with Israeli settlements in the occupied Palestinian territory and has announced consultation on a proposal for a new bill prohibiting such transactions. The Israeli settlements in Palestine are in breach of international law. Minister of Foreign Affairs Espen Barth Eide said in a statement on Friday.
A 68-year-old pétanque player has died after allegedly being hit with a metal ball during a dispute with a rival team in the French Atlantic resort of Mimizan. The man was reportedly struck after an argument broke out between one team that regularly plays on the beach and another that plays in town. Israel and Hezbollah have agreed a ceasefire. A US official says, following intense Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon, that the government said killed 47 people. The agreement followed concerns that continued clashes, which also saw Hezbollah kill 4 Israeli soldiers in Lebanon, would undermine the deal to end the war between the US and Iran.
17 medics have died from Ebola in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, as the death toll surpasses 200 in an outbreak tearing through a health system already weakened by years of conflict, displacement and chronic organization. WHO official confirmed the death toll on Friday and said that 75 healthcare workers had contracted the virus since Congolese authorities declared the outbreak on May 15.
British Transport Police are responding to reports of a collision involving two trains in an area north of London, with media outlets saying the major incident had resulted in multiple injuries. "We're responding to reports of a collision involving two trains in the Bedford area," referring to a market town about 56 miles, 90-kilometre force said, 90 kilometres north of the capital.
In Israel, there is fury from government ministers over the agreement United States President Donald Trump has signed with Iran. US Vice President J.D. Vance offered a sharp rebuke in response.
British Transport Police said on Friday that it was responding to reports of a train collision north of London, with other emergency services saying they were attending to the incident amid media reports of injuries. "We're responding to reports a collision involving two trains in the Bedford area," the Transport Police Force said on X, referring to a market town around 56 miles, 90 kilometres north of the capital. The National Cybercrime Investigation Agency, NCCI, has arrested 5 people and 4 workers at mobile phone franchises for their alleged involvement in an illegal SIM issuance network operating in Lahore. The raid was carried out on the instructions of Muhammad Ali Wazim after the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority lodged a complaint and investigated technical evidence linking the suspects to the scheme. Investigators.
Train services on the Attock-Mari Indus-Multan railway section were temporarily suspended on Friday after heavy rainfall triggered a landslide between Jamaat and Chab railway stations in Attock's Jan Tehsil in Punjab, blocking the track and leaving passengers stranded. According to an official of the track maintenance department, mud and debris fell onto the track following the downpour, prompting authorities to suspend train services as a precautionary measure. One train was reportedly stranded near tunnel number 129, while the 202 up passenger train was halted at Jamaat railway station.
The US government says it will stop funding programs in South Africa intended to tackle the spread of HIV and AIDS, linking the decision to the government's alleged failure to protect the white minority Afrikaner community. South Africa's health ministry responded by saying that though it had not been informed of this decision, it had long been working on a self-reliance plan.
2 men have been jailed over a series of arson attacks targeting property belonging to British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The pair, Ukrainian-born Roman Lavrinovich, 22, and Stanislav Karpiuk, 27, were offered money to carry out the attacks by a Russian-speaking figure using the name El Money via messaging app Telegram, according to prosecutors. Artificial intelligence education now starts at the age of 6 in China. The Ministry of Education has rolled out new guidelines to teach AI at every grade level. For President Xi Jinping, AI is a priority. Will the toddlers of today be the tech titans of the future? This is a story from the archives. This originally aired on September 18, 2025. None of the dates, titles or other references from that time have been changed.
Diplomatic row between United States President Donald Trump and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has escalated, with Italy's top diplomat cancelling an upcoming visit to the US. At issue is Trump's claim that Meloni begged him for a photograph during the Group of 7, G7, meeting in France earlier in the week.
Over the last several years, fusion power has gone from the butt of jokes, always a decade away, to an increasingly tangible and tantalizing technology that has drawn investors off the sidelines. The technology may be challenging to master and expensive to build today, but fusion promises to harness the nuclear reaction that powers the sun to generate nearly limitless energy here on Earth. If startups are able to complete commercially viable fusion power plants, then they have the potential to upend trillion-dollar markets.